Thank you for watching True Crimes with Ebony. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Seeking street justice never yields a positive outcome. This narrative explores the consequences of two lives lost. One abruptly ended by a police officer, and another claimed by a grieving father's vengeful act against a deputy uninvolved in his son's death.
In other news tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
And WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak has been leading the way on this investigation for us. She's live right now, walking us through the video. Hi, Danielle.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun on your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
All four individuals get out and start running.
On your right! On your right!
Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice, given medical care right away, and died. Thiegy says this is the gun the suspect had. A semi-automatic with an extended magazine, with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic.
Police also told us that a stolen gun was found inside that stolen Kia. At this time, we still do not have the identity of the person who was shot and killed. All police could tell us is that he was approximately 18 years old.
This story takes place in Cincinnati, Ohio, known for the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center and its role as the birthplace of professional baseball. On May 1st of this year, cops responded to a call about a stolen Kia. The owner alerted cops of the location because of GPS capability. Undercover police officers pulled up to a parking lot where they saw individuals in a stolen vehicle. As officers approached, 4 individuals fled the vehicle. According to reports, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was armed with a weapon. An unidentified police officer said he was in fear for his life, so he shot Ryan Hinton multiple times, killing him on scene. Family described him as a sweet, loving person who was a big jokester.
Thank you for coming out. My name is Michael Wright, Attorney Michael Wright. I'm going to introduce Attorney Fanon Rucker, Attorney Robert Gresham, Attorney Anthony Pearson. I'm going to introduce Mom, who is Tori Jackson, Grandma, which is Tanya Larkin, and Dad, which is Rodney Hinton, grandfather, excuse me. We're here because we represent the estate of Ryan. We're not here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We do offer our condolences to the officer and his family, but we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan. This family is very upset about what occurred. Kind of walking you through what happened is on Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting. We're trying to get the family some answers as it relates to what happened with that shooting. We're not here at this point to make any specific allegations, to make any specific determinations as it relates to that police-involved shooting. We are here and we're retained to investigate that shooting. So we'll take any questions.
How will that proceed? What will that look like? Will you be reviewing the body camera footage frame by frame, or talking about the process?
Absolutely. We only saw one angle. We only saw, I believe it was the shooter's body cam. So we requested the records, we requested all the other body cams, we requested the reports, we did the ordinary public records request so that we can really analyze what occurred. I mean, what we saw in the video, it's hard to determine whether or not that officer was in imminent danger or should have thought that they were in imminent danger before they took shots. So we are specifically investigating, that part of this entire tragic situation.
Mr. Wright, to the person who says Ryan was in a stolen car, had a firearm, according to detectives, and this is what happened, what do you say to that person?
That's correct, but being in a stolen car, having a firearms, we're in Ohio, so you can open carry in Ohio. So that's not a death penalty. Being in a stolen car, having a gun, that doesn't mean that you should be shot and killed.
Just to be clear, are you disputing any of the comments we've heard from the chief, any of the facts that she laid out in that press conference?
Well, I'm not familiar specifically of what facts you are indicating. However, we believe that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry. So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to analyze frame by frame each one of these videos to determine why the officer made that deadly decision to shoot and kill Ryan.
The only thing we've heard so far about Ryan has been from police. Would a member of the family want to step forward and tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, of course. This is his mother, this is his grandmother, his brother, his father, his grandfather. Tell them your name.
I'm Diamante Jackson. I'm Ryan's big brother. My brother, he was always like real jokester, playing with everybody, but he was making sure everybody was good. Everybody was on their toes too. Like, he was real loving. Like, you felt his love through anything he ever did for you, by just hanging with you, playing the game, playing football. We used to play football outside all the time. Like, it was just us, man.
How did you get the news?
So crazy.
Don't say that.
It's cool. It's cool.
Let me say something.
Okay, and this is grandfather.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold on. I'm Rodney Hinton Sr. I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got killed. My whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there try to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. You know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent Him. So, with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Mr. Hinton, for you, this is a fact-finding mission more than anything to make sure you understand.
Yeah, it's a peace thing for me, for everything, for everybody to heal off this. I want everybody to heal off this. You know, it's just like a mistake. I really feel bad for the officer who was shooting because I can see the scaredness in him too. People can't see it because I'm going spiritual with this now. So I was able to see that God had allowed me to see this part of the accident. You know, just like my son made an accident too. So he made an accident. Just, you know what I'm saying, just trying to just move on now. That's all I'm trying to do on. And I'm praying for the officer and their family. You know?
How hard has this been for your entire family from Thursday into Friday with all of this playing? It's a lot.
It's been hard on my side of the family. I know it's been hard on Tori, because me and Tori, you know, me and her is so tight. We usually being born on the same day. So God, it's crucial how me and her have to end up to explain this now. We born on the same day but different years, you know what I'm saying? So all this was building up to this point, but I was trying to I have to bring the peace to this. There's no violence in this, no revenge.
You're aware there's social media chatter that people in the community might feel a different way?
We haven't been on it at all.
I'm being no social media. I don't do no Facebook, nothing. I just rely on the power of God, that's it.
It seems like there's some tensions, though, based on some of those posts. Do you have, like, a calming message for those who are concerned over the shooting?
Long live Ryan. Long live Ryan. I want to say out to the media and the social media, my name is Tanya Larkin. I am Ryan's grandmother. Because it's Long live Ryan. Ryan was a sweet, gentle giant that played with everybody all the time. You see all the younger ones? That was a PlayStation buddy. He made it a point to make sure that he played with each and every last one of them whenever he was around them. He included them in the game process. He taught each one of them how to play the game. We are very close family. This is killing us. I can't even express how I feel right now about, I'm angry because it shouldn't have never happened. I want to find out exactly what steps was taken and the protocol. And if everything comes out that it's not what it should have been, we need to do something about change and training and diversity and understanding us as a black culture. We as black people, we don't deserve to be killed just because we're running away from the police. We're scared just as much as they are, whether we did something right or wrong. This is everyday life for us, being scared of the police. Take that in consideration while everybody is making comments on the parent should have did this and the parent should have did that. Okay, come on. Because I ain't worried about it.
Would you care to share some thoughts or else?
I got this. What's your name? My name is Marlon. I'm Ryan's cousin. My condolences to everybody involved in this. I just want to say, Ryan, I'm so sorry. God, please watch over the rest of my family. I want to address all the negativity and saying he was being a stolen car, this and that. Listen, he was supposed to be at home that night and shit. Let me get this out. He had no business being in a stolen car, man. He had a bed to come home to. He slept in a car. He couldn't get in the house. All right. He called me like 6, 9 times, like 12, like between 12 and 1. He called me trying to get in. Text me. And I was asleep. Ryan, I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you. Ever. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't. He was scared. He tripped and fell. He must have been so scared. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Just that, like, everybody just talking shit about him. Just know he wasn't supposed to be there, y'all.
Mr. Wright, may I ask you real quick, next steps, if you do the investigation and it unfolds, is there a possibility of litigation or just help people understand what could be down the road?
Well, again, we're investigating. When we get all the information that we've requested, then we'll make a determination as to next steps. We have to analyze all of the information we receive, all the body cams, all the different angles, and then we'll make a determination as to what next steps are. Whether that's filing lawsuit, whether that's litigation, I don't know at this point, but it's an ongoing investigation, and we will, once we get all the information, we'll then make a determination.
I just want to ask, pain that your family is feeling is clear right now, but in that statement, you made a point to notice and acknowledge the pain that the family of the fallen deputy is feeling as well. What was in your heart when you did that? Why did you find the need to acknowledge your pain as well?
Well, reason why, because So naturally, for me, when this happened, I'm devastated because my grandson was with me the whole winter. So when he goes back with his mama through the summer, and he got killed. So it was very devastating to us. Kind of a lot of anger feelings at first, but for me, I have to go to spiritual. I have to go spiritual to myself to understand what's really going on. If I can see through the fake media and all that stuff. So the media have not done nothing towards me to make me feel about anything what I'm saying. Mine's all natural coming from God. So I just, it's hurting on both sides. Everybody's hurting off this. The family, the officer, I was crying about what happened to the innocent officer. So that's all it's all about. It's all about healing each other, Everybody makes mistakes. Like I say, it was an emotional mistake by everybody. That's it.
Do you know who your son was talking to during his arraignment on Saturday morning when he said he'll be?
I have no more questions. I want to answer more questions.
Yeah.
Who this student belonged to that Ryan Hinton was holding?
No, I do not, and we're not going to discuss anything related to the criminal case. We're not here to represent Rodney in the criminal matter, so that's something you have to talk to his criminal lawyer about.
Just to clarify, it was his cousin who spoke and said Ryan might have been locked out that Wednesday night before that Thursday. Just to clarify, is that what he was saying?
That's what he said.
Do you know if the officer involved has been placed on administrative leave or anything like that?
It's my understanding that during officer-involved shootings, the officer is placed on administrative leave. I don't know. I believe it's 7 days, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mr. Wright, I know you've been around for a minute, and just the circumstances here are just incredibly unique and truly just hard to process. Having gone from Thursday and then the tragic incident on Friday, from your vantage point, I know you're staying in your lane. You're representing the estate of Ryan Hinton. What do you make of this and this city and this time? And there's a lot happening here. A lot of people feel different ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a tragedy all the way around. Ryan was shot and killed. This police officer lost his life. His family is suffering. This family is suffering. There's a lot of healing that has to happen here soon. We are still investigating the shooting, as I indicated, but, as Rodney Jr. said, everyone's hurting, excuse me, Rodney Sr.
Rodney
said
Sr.,
where everyone's hurting, and there's, you know, there has been nothing at this point that's been good about this entire situation. They lost their grandson, their son, their brother, and the officer, you know, his family lost a father, a grandfather, and the, you know, just the police department in general lost a colleague. So, you know, we don't stand here saying that, you know, this was nothing but a very tragic situation all the way around.
Mr. Wright, with everything going on Thursday and Friday, I know the chief was out there talking about possible tensions arising. I mean, how do you keep the temperature down in a situation like this?
Well, just by what we're doing now. You know, we want everyone to just forgive one another. We want everyone to kind of just wait and let this process, you know, play itself out. Let's see what the investigation for the shooting of Ryan turns out. Let's wait and see what the investigation as it relates to Rodney, and, you know, just pray for the family of the officer, pray for this family. So that's, I would hope that the tensions in this city would relax, that everyone would just wait and not rush to judgment on either side, and hopefully, you know, we can get through this, you know, this very tragic situation.
Mr. Wright, too, one other question. When we all leave here today, what is one thing you or the family want us to take away from Ryan himself?
That he was loved.
You heard the message, that he was loved. What we know is that we have a natural tendency in society to line up along the sides that we believe, even if at some point our positions may not be supported. What we have to do in this community, as an example, is recognize that life is life. Most of us have experienced some loss in our lives. Most of us know what it feels like not to have the phone call from that person that we were able to talk to the day before. And if all of us recognize that pain, if all of us recognize that sentiment, then all of us can understand the commonality of the injury and the pain that we collectively have to sympathize with the other side. Even if we don't particularly agree with what we believe that person did before they lost their lives. Even if that's our position, we have to understand that somewhere within us has to be understanding and mercy. And that's a community offer and direction. What we're talking about, what we're doing as the Cochran firm, is about process. We're all here because of an incident. And certainly some people say, well, you know, he was doing bad stuff. Even assuming the truth of that, there's procedures and there are policies that require those who hold life and death in their hands to move in particular ways. Our objection is the question of whether or not those policies and procedures were followed, which led to the unfortunate and tragic death of an 18-year-old. We can argue all day about all of the society problems that lead people to places where they shouldn't be. But that's not our question, nor are we trying to answer that by this process. We are answering or looking for the answer through our investigation of whether or not it was proper, whether or not the policies were followed appropriately, and whether or not by law and by facts that tragic death was considered in the eyes of the law as justifiable. I can promise you, under no circumstance are the family members who were here will ever believe that it was justifiable. Trust me on that. But I can offer to you that we collectively need to, as Senior said, find a way to love and forgive one another and look at our commonality to stop all this vitriol, this anger, this taking sides, this dart throwing, this hatred. Because there is no good that will come from it on either side.
Judge Rucker, this may be a technical question for you or a family member. It was Friday afternoon around 1:30, or sorry, not Friday afternoon, during Thursday's incident. What was Ryan 18? Was he in school? Was he out of school? What was his?
He was going to Don, and Don just closed.
And they closed, so he had not re-enrolled at CPS, for example, or whatnot. That's unfortunate. Yeah. So I'm sorry that was the case. So, Mom, would you care to say a few words? I want to say something. Mom, just shed some light on where you are.
No.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, with that said, we're going to end this press conference. Thank you all for coming out, and
She wanted to say something.
and pray for all these, and just pray for all these families.
Zara, you want to say something? That's his sister.
That's his only sister.
Say something.
Hi, I am Ryan's sister, only sister. And me, I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, hi, I'm Zuri, and I am 10 years old, and I'm Ryan's only sister. And me and Ryan is 8 years apart. And Ryan was quiet. Ryan was the funniest person I ever met. And even though we used to fight a lot, be quiet, Shakur.
Okay, come on.
So, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, and L.
On the following day, May 2nd, 2025, Ryan Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr., was upset after seeing body cam footage that day of his son being killed. He then committed a vengeful act, running over 57-year-old Deputy Larry Henderson. Deputy Larry Henderson was a first responder, U.S. Marine, husband, father, and grandfather. He retired back in December after 33 years of service. Later that evening, he succumbed to his injuries, and Rodney Hinton was later arrested.
Tragic story out of Ohio. A man whose teenage son was killed by police is now accused of killing a sheriff's deputy in turn. Rodney Hinton is in jail in Cincinnati after he allegedly rammed his car into this officer, identified as Deputy Larry Henderson, a 33-year veteran of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, was retired, technically picked up a shift as a traffic cop for a day. It didn't turn out well. Henderson was not involved in Hinton's son's death. Tom Hansen's been following this tragic story, and we do warn you, as you may imagine, some of the footage here you're going to see is graphic.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
2 hours after watching this body cam video of officers shooting and killing 18-year-old Ryan Hinton after a police chase, officials say his father, Rodney Hinton, got into his car and purposefully drove into a sheriff's deputy directing traffic on graduation day near the University of Cincinnati, killing him.
He was so well liked and so well known. We are so deeply saddened.
Sheriff's deputies packed a courtroom Saturday as Rodney Hinton was charged with aggravated murder. They were there in support of the fallen deputy, now identified as Larry Henderson.
I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now.
The day before, Cincinnati police say they got a report of a stolen vehicle at this condominium complex. When officers arrived, 4 men suspected in the theft got out of the vehicle and fled. One of the men was Ryan Hinton. He was shot twice and killed by a police officer who says he pointed a gun at him.
And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
Investigators say they recovered this loaded gun from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. Lawyers for the family say the next day, Rodney Hinton appeared distraught watching the body cam footage with police. After the meeting, that was the last time they heard from him. The Hinton family says they are devastated for the family of the officer who was killed.
The officer was just out doing his job, directing traffic.
Now, Deputy Henderson had recently retired but continued to work as a special deputy. Rodney Hinton is being held without bond. His public defender says he has no felonies on his record, and this was an emotionally charged situation.
On May 3rd, Rodney Hinton Jr., appeared in court for his arraignment. The judge ordered him to stay behind bars without bail.
The separate session of the Hamilton County Municipal Court is now in session. Judge Tyrone Yates is presiding this morning. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. First case load out to Rodney Hinton.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning.
He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft-spoken.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, anything as to probable cause?
Your Honor, we'll waive probable cause this morning. I submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bicknell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Hinton's case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, or anything as to bond?
As to bond, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. He has a risk, but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. His risk sentence score was a 1. He has a juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation. I understand that Mr. Hinton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video. I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large. And we just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything and to allow the constitutional process to play out.
All right, thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right this morning? All right, the court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state through the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution.
Could you give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on or about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe it would be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue at MLK, I believe at Burnett Woods, at the intersection, I believe immediately north to the rear entrance of the University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025, that will be next Tuesday.
On May 19th, the coroner released Ryan Hinton's autopsy report.
Coroner Dr. Lakshmi Samarko released autopsy findings related to the officer-involved shooting death of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. After releasing that information, she spoke one-on-one with me.
I presented the media with written report of the preliminary autopsy findings, but I can tell you that there were 3 entrance wounds and 2 exit wounds. So one of the entrance wounds and an exit wound was in the left forearm, and it was soft tissue only. It was through the skin and muscle of the left forearm and then exited. The next gunshot wound that I discussed was perhaps the same bullet. We're not sure, but it's certainly in the same vicinity of the left forearm if somebody were running. And that was immediately left lateral chest. So a few inches below the armpit, but truly in the side. And that hit a 7th rib on the side and traveled through the chest cavity and through the left ventricle, and it exited the chest near the sternum. And then there was a 3rd entrance wound, which was upper posterolateral chest, adjacent to the right shoulder. And it stayed in the skin, just beneath the skin, and traveled just beneath the skin upwards in the soft tissues of the neck, and then stopped below the skull, below the base of the skull. And it didn't go through any bones or any major soft tissue structures. It really stayed just below the skin, just deep to the skin.
So can you point, so it looks like the second one that was like under his armpit, that one was the one that killed him.
Yeah, that was the lethal wound, correct.
Point to where it is on you, and is that the one that they, I guess, the police saying that he's been shot in the chest, is that what they thought was a shot in the chest?
That must have been, but it was really the side. I mean, it's underneath you. If you lift your arm, it was underneath where your arm would be if you just have your arms on the side. So it's really on the side.
All right, so we had a long conversation about this. We talked about a lot of things because earlier in this investigation, the police chief stated that even though Hinton, as he's running right here, was in a bladed position right there, and he had the gun in a bladed position, it was the police chief that said he was shot in the chest. Now, the medical terminology of posterolateral, I'm not a medical professional, the police chief says, because I spoke to her a little while ago, that's basically the chest area, even though the coroner says it was shot like right here, kind of like underneath your armpit, and exited the chest. So there's a little bit of, and that was her first time that she did speak. Any comments that she said that were coming out of the coroner's office, those were not her. Today was the first time she spoke to anyone about these findings. It's a long conversation.
The 18-year-old who was shot and killed by Cincinnati police 2 weeks ago was laid to rest today. Ryan Hinton's family gathered at Living God Church in Avondale this morning for his funeral. WLWT News 5's Sean McKinnon joining us live with more. Sean?
Yeah, well, Ryan Hinton turned 18 years old just 12 days before he was killed, and today his family buried him. It was a sea of red here this morning, Hinton's favorite color. His siblings carrying their brother's coffin down the church's steps and then saying goodbye for the last time as they placed him into the back of a hearse. Outside the church this morning were 2 men wearing masks and one with an open carry rifle, that as tensions run high. In an interview, the officer who shot Ryan Hinton says he feared for his life and that Hinton pointed a gun at him. That was during a stolen car investigation as officers were chasing Hinton and 3 other suspects. Dozens of people were here this morning supporting Hinton's family. Now, a grand jury is reviewing the evidence and Hinton's autopsy. There's no timeline right now when the Hamilton County prosecutor will decide whether or not to charge the officer who shot Hinton. Live in Avondale, Sean McKinnon, WLWT News 5.
We are united in grief as we reflect the life and service of Deputy Larry Henderson.
Exactly 1 week ago today, a 2016 Ford Focus embarked on a rage-fueled voyage of vengeance. The driver, a bitter and angry man whose name I will never speak.
Today, we are reminded that we, as we are called to service, we raise our hand. We swear the oath.
Wanted to show my support for all our law enforcement and fire department, everyone that serves the community.
He was a better person than he was a police officer, and that's saying a lot, because Larry was the best police officer that you could possibly find.
There is no doubt that on May 2nd, 2025, Larry took the place of another officer. He may have taken that place for me, or you, or anyone in this room.
To the citizens of Hamilton County, continue to stand behind the men and women who serve you. I've seen it. The waitress who brings cookies to the table paid for by a stranger. The heartfelt thank yous while on patrol. We notice, we remember, we need that.
I always felt so safe around him.
He was the type of guy that would do anything for you.
Each of us knowing in our hearts that we will never walk alone.
Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe.